I was present this week at the memorial service of a soldier who passed away in the army in an accident 28 years ago. He's a twin brother of a very close friend of mine. And I was in Mount Herzl listening to the memorial. And Rabbi Brom, the Rosh Hashiva of Yeshivat Shiloh, where this young man learned, he would have been 50 today, speaks every year. And he said a very powerful thing that I want to share with you. He said, you know, I was present as a young man during the Yom Kippur War over 50 years ago. The mood in Israel was one of depression. 2,700 funerals, 2,700 people killed in those 3 weeks. Everywhere you went, the mood in Israel for years was one of downtroddenness and depression. He said, I actually cannot believe the dichotomy. Today, even though it's 20 months later, who would believe? The longest war in Israel's history. And around 2,000 people have been killed, 1,250 in that horrific day, and almost 800 going forward. The mood is different. There's a spirit of gvura, a spirit of incredible heroism and courage. You hear this from the families of the soldiers and of all of the citizens. You hear this from mothers. You hear this from wives. You hear this from children and parents. Yes, there's pain and suffering, but there isn't depression, even with the whole situation of the hostages that we hope and pray that every one of the 58, including our son Daniel, comes back immediately. There's a spirit of gvura. And boy, oh boy, have we seen in this generation, with the terrible prices paid. I sometimes feel that I've been carried by the people. This is about the Aron Kodesh, Aron Nosat Nosaf. Somehow the Aron Kodesh, the Holy Ark, carried the people who carried it. I sometimes feel the spirit of our heroic young men and women on that day and subsequently is carrying us. They are leading us in their spirit of heroism. And this generation we've seen is not the TikTok generation of self-focused teenagers and self-absorbed, but a generation, I believe, no less heroic than the founders of the State of Israel, the Maccabees, and even perhaps King David's army. We feel the tremendous schut with all the pain of what it means to be part of such a people. And the truth is, Israeli military tradition goes back to this week's parsha. Because in this week's parsha, in this book, the book of Bamidbar, the book of the counting, Chomesh HaPkudim of the counting, the truth is, who is counted? If you look carefully, the 600,000 or so people who are counted are those of military going age, those mandated to go to war from every single tribe, from every single family. That's what it is. And the counting in the beginning of this week's parsha and the book of Bamidbar, and later on in Parshat Pinchas, Chomesh HaPkudim, the book of the countings, who is counted? Those who go out to war. Those are the ones who are counted. And hence the book of Bamidbar. The word tzava, army, appears 36 times in this week's parsha, 73 times in the book of Bamidbar, around half in this week's parsha, and only 14 times in the rest of the Torah. This is the book of going to war, as the Jewish people have to come to terms with the reality that we have to fight and defend our life and our way of life. And I want to share with you two unique qualities of what a Jewish army has always been, from time immemorial, this week's parsha until today. Number one, we are a people's army. We've never been an army of mercenaries. We've never been an army of people who have to choose to go to the army, but one which we've had to fight, all of us, a people's army from all 12 tribes. That's how it has always been. That's how it's in the beginning of the parsha, and that's how it has been throughout Jewish history. A people's army. The army is us, and we are them. And not a professional army, but an army reflecting the will of the people. Tzva'am, that's what we have always been. And secondly, the regard for every single Jewish and human life. Every single soldier is counted. Every single one is important. Exact numbers to know how many there are. And that is our greatest strength. That the regard that we have for our sons and daughters, the regard that we have for human life, the regard that we care for the civilians of our enemy more than they care for their lives themselves. This is the greatness of being part of the Jewish people and having a Jewish army. A Jewish army is one which is an army of the people, for the people, and by the people, of all the tribes of Israel. And please God, all of the different parts of Israeli society and Jewish society should fully embrace our people's army the way that it should be. And secondly, every one of us counts. We are all for one. And because we are all for one, of every single life is important. We are also one for all. The prat and the klal, the individual and the klal, a people's army which cares about every individual created in the image of God, and an individual who cares about the collective of the people. May God look after every one of our soldiers. May we bring every one of our hostages home. And please God, may we only know the best things for the future. Shabbat Shalom.